by the head coach over in the Lowellville Volleyball program, Josh Kelly. Coach, thank you so much for taking the time to join us today.
Oh, thanks for having me on, guys.
Of course. Now, when we talk about Lowellville Volleyball, you guys are a young team with a handful of leaders, but you're starting to figure things out a little bit. Big win over Springfield last week. What have you seen from your team so far this season?
We lost a lot of seniors last year. We lost a lot of talent on that. I was a little apprehensive at the start of the season that we were going to be able to get back into some competitive form of volleyball this year. But I've been very amazed at the amount of hard work that the girls have put in. And, they've gotten us to where I think, honestly, we're probably one of the most competitive teams that we've been able to field here in a couple of years right now. So, and that's 100% due to their hard work out on the court and off the court and at practice and everything that, small town athletes do. We have 3 girls on the team right now that are playing golf and volleyball. So they're juggling 2 sports. Everyone's doing very well academically, so we don't have any issues there. So my hat's off to the girls for putting in the work that they need to be competitive in this league.
Looking at about 5-6 record too. I mean, you guys are kind of hanging in there too, right around the 500 mark. What does this team need to do, or what are the improvements that need to be made for them to take that next step and start seeing the wins start to turn around more frequently than the losses?
Yeah, I think what we need to do is we just need to play more consistent volleyball, and that comes within the sets or, in between, from one set to the next. We have this tendency sometimes that we get the peaks and the valleys. We just need to play on the plateaus a little bit and stay consistent throughout. And I think that we'll start pulling those out. We had a really great game against Springfield, great opponent, great atmosphere. And then we played Matthews. We ended up losing that in 5. That was our last loss to Matthews. But Matthews is the leader, leading their league. So it's a tough volleyball team. So I think we're right there. We just need to take that next step and consistently put our best foot forward out there on the court.
You talked about the atmosphere that you guys get. You guys have a great student section at the volleyball games in Lowellville. I got to see it firsthand. Talk about what it means to the team and to you and to the program to have not just the support of the parents and the fans, but also the support of the student body and the school system as well.
It's awesome. This has been the best year for our student section. I mean, we pack the stands on home games. And I think that's because we are playing competitive volleyball. We are playing that exciting volleyball with the kills and running slides and things that, people want to come see. We're not just passing the ball back and forth, hoping that somebody doesn't make a mistake. We're out there playing aggressive volleyball. But my hats are off to the football players and all of the student athletes and the students that show up at these games. Thankfully, the football coach allows these guys to come to these games, so works around our schedule so they can attend. And obviously we attend their games. So it's been, I can't even tell you how great it's been. The girls really thrive in that atmosphere with all that energy that the student section brings. I'm very, very grateful for their work they've done this year.
I think it's no question that you probably know that Sammy Kelly is one big dog at the Valley for the Lowellville Rockets. Talk to me a little bit about her play too. I mean, able to fill it up in the box score categories in a multitude of areas. Is that something that's been coached with her over the years, or is that something that she's kind of just picked up naturally? And how much does that mean to a team having that player that can kind of just do it all on the court at all times?
Well, I think that, Sammy puts in a ton of work. She participates in JO volleyball and as well as in, she was playing travel softball there. And she knows that if you want to play multiple sports, you're going to have to put in the work if you want to be good at it. This year just happened to work out and for her favor that we lost some really good attackers. Her sister, Casey, she graduated last year. She was a leading attacker on her team last year. So we had a big void to fill. We have good setters on our teams in JV and varsity level. So we're able to run a 6-2 this year, which allows Samantha to have that opportunity to go out there and be a hitter while the other setter's setting. And that's been huge for us. And I think that the team appreciates that. I think they feed off of the energy that she brings. The girls are out there playing hard. We have a couple girls now that, play a lot of the game. We have Sam Moore, my senior, as a libero. She's out on that court the whole time hustling. They feed off of each other. And then we have Savannah Prosick has now turned into being a back row and front row specialist for us. So she's on the court a lot of the time. So it's expected. It's what we have to do in a small school. And I think that, Sammy has excelled at that this year. And I'm very proud of her hard work because she's very deserving of it.
Sammy plays multiple sports, but you coach multiple sports too. I mean, you're also the softball coach at Lowellville. Talk about some of the time constraints that provides and what it's like kind of doing the dual threat coach and being the volleyball coach while also being the softball coach.
Well, it's definitely a time management thing. We're juggle, thankfully I don't do anything in the winter sports. So we pick up on softball a little bit with some open hitting and so forth in the winter and try and get back into shape on that. But I'm fortunate enough that, we're a small school. So most of our student athletes play multiple sports. So the girls that I'm coaching in volleyball right now are still the girls that I'm going to be coaching in softball. So as a multi-sport coach, I do a lot of our conditioning as in a neutral conditioning, something that's going to benefit them throughout their athletic careers in that, that they're going to play 3 or 4 different sports all season. So we don't specifically condition for one sport. We kind of general conditioning. So it seems to be working out. I don't know. We'll see.
What are some things from softball or from volleyball that you found yourself carrying over from one sport to the next, whether it be within the play itself or maybe just some sort of mentality, some sort of thought process? Just talk to me a little bit about that. Has there been anything like that that you've seen kind of carry over?
Yeah, we're big into footwork. We're big into foot speed, quickness on the field, either on, in softball or on the court and volleyball. So we tend to concentrate a lot on that quickness and explosiveness, that you need to utilize in both sports to make those plays, to get to the ball and make a good play. So some of it carries over. And then just the general mentality is that, we've got to work harder than a lot of, because we are multi-sport athletes in Lowellville. We don't have the numbers to support just the volleyball program and those girls. That's all they play. If we did that, then we wouldn't be able to fill the other sports. And these girls do an awesome job of stepping up and playing multiple sports and representing their school. And I don't think that could be overlooked. It should definitely be something that emphasized with these smaller schools in this area that, these multi-sport athletes are really putting in the time all year long.
We talked about some of your upperclassmen and leaders of the team, but you also have a handful of freshmen that have stepped up and taken up starting roles on the varsity team as well. Talk about them, how impressed you are with them, and how fortunate it is to have freshmen come in ready for varsity play and able to make that adjustment from junior high to varsity.
It's been monumental for us, and that starts all the way down into the junior high programs. Again, I'm fortunate enough being in a small school that I run the junior high program all the way up through the high school program. My wife Courtney is taking over the junior high program. She was down there last year a little bit, and this year full time to make sure that we're setting up those fundamentals so that we can get freshmen coming in and immediately being able to transition over to high school. Now, obviously the speed of the game is a lot faster, and that's always a learning curve there. But as long as the fundamentals are sound, we've been fortunate enough that we have some really gifted athletes, coming in as freshmen that have been able to make some significant playing time. Hadessa Rivera, just to name one, has come in as a back row specialist and really solidified that back row for us. And that's been huge because everything starts in the back row. If you can't get the pass up to the setter, you can't get your attacks, you can't run your offense. So, and then we have Ariana Romano, who is one of our middles and been a beast up there in the front row with her blocking skills right now. She's working to transition to become a more efficient hitter, but I mean, as a freshman, just absolutely stepping out of their comfort zone and playing at a higher level. It's been monumental for us.
I think there's no doubt that you coaching a multitude of sports too, there's something about coaching that keeps bringing you back to it. So I guess this question might be easier or hard depending on how you look at it. But what is your favorite thing about coaching in general?
I think my favorite thing about coaching is those few moments that you have where everything just clicks, where you can see the hard work that everybody's put in, the coaching staff, the students, athletes, everything is just clicking. It's like watching ballet. It's just perfect. And, they're very few and far in between, but when they do happen, it is a really rewarding feeling to sit there and go, wow, I had something to do with that. It's a little part, but I had something to do with that. And, it keeps you coming back.
Before we let you go, we want you to get a chance to highlight your coaching staff and the people that help you all the way from junior high. You brought up Courtney, your wife, and all the way up to your assistants and some of the people that help this Lowellville volleyball program succeed the way it does.
Well, we start off, we have a first-year coach in the 7th grade, which is Madison Kelly. She is in college right now, so she's coming in and helping with the 7th graders. Madison was a phenomenal. She was an MVAC first-team setter when she was up there, and she brings a high intensity to that 7th grade program. My wife is overseeing all the programs and coaching the 8th grade team. Courtney does an outstanding job with getting the kids ready to take that next step, to come up and play JV and freshman ball, or actually transition over some of them over into varsity if they put forth a good effort. And then I have my junior varsity freshman coach with Abby Boudet. This is her 2nd season with us in the program, and she's doing a great job with that. She is really pushed to have a freshman team, and we've been getting games scheduled to allow those freshmen to get some more playing time out there on the court together as a unit. And that's been monumental, as well as to giving these girls a little bit more play time to try and transition into, the high school varsity level. They do a fabulous job. I mean, they all are full-time. I have 2 full-time firefighters on my department with Abby and Courtney. And then Madison is a full-time student and a part-time firefighter. They do an outstanding job of coordinating schedules and making sure someone's there, that we never have any coaching lapses, and everything really has been running smooth so far this season, knock on wood. And, I couldn't do it without them. They make this program. I get the finished product. They're the ones putting in all the hard work.
Coach, we want to thank you so much too for joining us. As I'd like to thank you, and I wanted to finish off as you highlighted too, with the rest of your roster and rest of your coaching staff as well. I want to kind of look ahead at some games before we let you go too. You got a tough matchup coming up with McDonald tomorrow night. Preview this matchup a little bit for me, and what you expect to see from the Blue Devils come Tuesday night.
Well, they're going to bring it. There's no doubt about that. I mean, coming from that, they came from a club team to, then started into the high school teams, and they had a little rough season, their first season, which really wasn't that rough. I mean, they came in ready to play volleyball. So it wasn't what most people had expected. And they just keep progressing as they go. So they're going to bring it. They're going to come with a high intensity to our place. We've got to match that intensity. We went 4 sets with them. At the beginning of the season when we lost to them. I anticipate that this is going to be hopefully a very competitive game, and I would look to it to go 5 sets. I mean, we've been playing really good ball, and we're forcing people to play their best ball to beat us. And I'm sure they will bring their best ball, and we're going to bring ours, and we'll just see how it works out.
Coach, thank you so much for a multitude of things. One, for your time that you come on the show. Your time that you put into Lowellville athletics, being the coach of multiple sports, but also the time that you put in as a member of the police community, keeping everybody safe. We couldn't thank you enough for that and what you do. And we'll talk to you again real soon.
Thank you, guys. Have a good day.